We're gonna be whipping it up in the kitchen today. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be shooting something a little bit different. I'm gonna be doing my first ever cook with me segment. So I actually did a poll on Instagram and I asked you guys what you would wanna see first for the cooking segment. So I said acai bowls or buffalo cauliflower tacos, which are actually a vegan option. So I think the vegan option won by like a landslide. Everyone wanted to see that first. So that is what I'm gonna shoot for you guys today. So the funny thing is that I don't even really like cauliflower, but this recipe is so yummy. And my mom is actually a vegetarian, so I'm always looking for different recipes that I can cook for her so that we can eat together and still enjoy the food. Because I'm not a vegetarian, but I still like to try new recipes, and I've always been that way. I always go on Pinterest and I'm always looking for different things I can try, different healthy options, stuff like that. And this is a little bit of a healthy option. It's not unhealthy, but it's like a little spin, you know, on tacos or buffalo wings, because it does have the buffalo sauce and then it does have tacos. And I'm also gonna be showing you guys how I make homemade guacamole as well. And I like to garnish that on top of my tacos once they're all finished. So let's get started. So first I want to show you guys the ingredients that we're going to need to make the buffalo cauliflower tacos. So first, of course, you need your tortillas. So these are actually mini flour street taco tortillas. I just got them at Ralph's. I personally only like flour tortillas. I hate the taste of corn, but it's totally up to you, whatever you prefer. I also don't like to have like huge tortillas and then only a little bit of, you know, garnish on the inside. I'd rather just have a bunch of little street tacos and not overdo it with a bunch of carbs, you know? So I grabbed this. You are also gonna need, of course, your cauliflower. So I just picked up an already pre-packaged cauliflower. You are going to need your buffalo sauce. So this is Kroger wing sauce, medium, but there's also Red Hot, Frank's Red Hot. I'm sure you guys have heard of this one. It doesn't really matter which one you pick up, honestly. Once again, it's just a preference thing, whatever you like. Maybe one tastes better than the other. This one's already open, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix this one with this one, but it really doesn't matter. And then to season our buffalo cauliflower, we're gonna need some garlic powder and some pepper. I use freshly cracked pepper. And then for baking, you're gonna need your foil and of course a tin pan. So next I'm gonna show you guys what you need to make the homemade guacamole. So of course, standard, you need your avocados. Make sure they're ripe, they're very squishy. It just makes it so much easier to mash once it's time to put everything together. You're also gonna need about half an onion. So I have a red onion, a couple limes. I have 1.5. I have 1.5, so I'll probably use that entire thing. You're gonna need some garlic cloves, but I don't have any actual cloves with me. So I'll probably throw in some minced roasted garlic as well as just some garlic powder to season it. A bunch of cilantro. I honestly always just keep a whole thing of cilantro in my fridge because I love it on everything. So I like to put a lot of this because I like it pretty spicy. And if you like your guac even spicier, add in fresh pieces of jalapeno as well. It's so bomb. Also, I'm gonna add in some tomato. I'll probably finish this off. This is about half a tomato. And then to season it a little bit further, we're gonna need some cumin and some salt as well. So before we start cooking away, let's get that oven preheated. So go ahead and set your oven to 425. So that way, by the time we're finished prepping everything else, the oven will be good and ready to go. So to start this off, I'm gonna be taking just a big plastic bag. I think it's a gallon size bag. I'm gonna open up this cauliflower and I'm just gonna start breaking it up into tiny pieces. Because if you get your small tortillas like I do, then you're not gonna be able to fit very many of these in one tortilla. So I like to make them pretty small, almost bite-sized pieces. So they look like little pieces of like meat almost, if you were to be putting meat in your tortillas. Alright guys, so I went ahead and peeled all of the cauliflower. As you can see, they're in much smaller pieces now. I don't really like the stems, so as you can see, I just ripped off a lot of the bigger stems, but for the most part, everything is in here. So what I'm gonna do next is take this, put it in a huge plastic bag, and then we're gonna dump in our buffalo sauce. So you only wanna put in as much as honestly you want. So it could be different for everyone. Like my mom doesn't like a lot of sauce, so I try to keep it less saucier, but you can always add sauce at the end. So don't worry if you put too little at the beginning, because you can always add more at the end. You'd rather put too little at the beginning than too much, because then you can't really get rid of it. All right, once you've got all the sauce in here, go ahead and give it a good shake. So now that everything is nice and covered, I'm gonna go ahead and season the cauliflower a little. I'm gonna go in with some garlic powder. Really doesn't matter how much, just sprinkle it in. And then I'm gonna go in with some black pepper as well. Close it up and then give it one more shake. Now that our cauliflower is nice and seasoned and layered in that buffalo sauce, I'm gonna move on to the guacamole and show you guys how I make my guacamole from scratch. Next, I'm gonna chop up the tomato that we have into small bits. I probably won't use it all just because this is a lot, and I don't like a whole lot of tomato in my guac. I also don't like it to be runny, so I tend to take out the insides. And throw it in with our avocado. Alright, I think that's all I'm going to do for the tomato, because like I said, I don't like a whole lot of tomato in my guac. So I probably use about 1/4 of a tomato, which is plenty. And so far I've only used 2 avocados. So depending on how much you want to make, obviously the quantity of everything would change. I'm going to use half an onion and chop that up as finely as I possibly can and throw it in with the rest of the ingredients. I'm gonna do one more little piece of this and then call it a day, because there's a lot of onion in there already and my eyes are starting to water, which is the worst when you're cutting onion. So next you're gonna take your bunch of cilantro. Don't forget to wash it off so there's no chemicals on there. So I just like to grab, honestly, just really quickly, just grab them off the stems. And when you get a decent amount in your hand, I like to bring my hands together and kind of peel them and grab them apart even more so they're not huge chunks when they're in the guac. Like I said, I like mine spicy, so I like to add in a lot of cilantro. I love the taste of cilantro. And you can always add in more later, same with all the other ingredients we're putting in. Once we mix it up, we'll taste it and then we'll see what it needs more of. I'm gonna stop there because I think that is good for now. Like I said, we can always add more later. Next, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the roasted minced garlic. Not too much, because since we don't have the cloves, probably taking about half a tablespoon, and I'm gonna dump that in there. And then I'm gonna go in with my garlic powder next. Everything I just do free-handedly. There's no real measurement. I would say about a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of pepper, about a teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna go in with about a half a teaspoon of cumin, not a lot because this stuff is pretty strong. This just gives it a little kick. And then to finish off, I'm gonna cut up my limes and squeeze those in. So I'm using about 1.5 limes for this. I'm actually gonna stop there because that lime was pretty juicy, and I'm gonna go ahead and give this a mix and mash. So I'm just gonna take a fork and I'm gonna go ahead and start mashing this. It helps if you kind of tackle the big pieces of avocado first, because once that's mashed up, then it's easier for everything else to mash together. So as you can see, it has a really good consistency now. It's nice and chunky and everything's pretty mixed together. So that's how I like it. I like it on the chunkier side. So I'm just gonna do a quick taste test. Hopefully it's good. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and more lime juice. So I went ahead and added another teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 of a lime because I did want it a little bit just like juicier and richer. So I'm gonna give this a taste test and see how this one is. Oh my God, so much better. So much better. See, I like it when it has a really limey taste. Lime and cilantro is like my favorite thing. So I love my guac to be lime and cilantro forward. So I think I'm gonna add one more 1/4 of a lime just because that lime juice tastes so good and I really want it to come through when it's on the tacos because I feel like the lime and the cilantro really complements the buffalo sauce. So now that I added more lime juice to it, you can tell it's a little bit creamier, but still has those really thick chunks in it. So this is perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cover this with some saran wrap and then stick it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. All right, we are ready to bake our cauliflower. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take some Pam and spray it right on the foil. I always like to line my sheets with foil just so they don't get super dirty. Makes the cleanup so much easier. So once you do that, go ahead and take your bag of cauliflower and just dump it all over your pan. So once everything is out, just go ahead and try and spread them out a little bit. And then I'm gonna throw this in the oven for 20 minutes. Halfway through, go ahead and pull it out and just mix it up a little bit. Alright guys, so the last step is we're gonna heat up our mini tortillas. Also, after I heat them up, I always put them in this tortilla warmer. I have no idea where we got this, but it is a lifesaver. It keeps tortillas hot up to 1 hour, and it really works. It's like literally styrofoam. All I do is put a paper towel in there, and then I have my heat on about 3 to 4. I'm just gonna grill them for about 10 seconds on each side. You can tell it'll start to shrivel up a little, and then that's when you want to flip it. I like mine a little bit toasty. So I'm back upstairs after dinner. I'm so full. I think I had 5 of those cauliflower tacos. My mom only had 2. You know, because they're not super filling, but they're just so delicious that you just want to keep eating more and more and more. So even if you are full, you still want to eat more. And just a side note, that pack of cauliflower, that fed my mom and I perfectly. Like, we finished the entire thing. So if you are making that meal for someone who eats a lot more than 2 girls, I would recommend getting more than 1 pack. But I eat a lot and she doesn't. So we had like 7 tacos total, and I think the cauliflower was spread out perfectly between the 6. So, or sorry, between the 7. So that's about how many I would say it makes. And then with the guac, we had a lot of guac left. So I probably could have done only 1 avocado or 1.5. You just never know. And guac's like one of those things you rarely ever have, especially homemade guac. So I just always want to make extra. So we had a lot of extra guac. And no, guac isn't extra at my house. So lame. But anyway, it was super good. If you guys have any questions about the recipe, or maybe I skipped over something, just let me know. Also, if you guys liked this cook with me segment, also let me know, because I really do enjoy cooking and trying new recipes. I think it's really fun, and you just kind of get to be creative and do your own thing. So I would love to do more of these. Like I said, this is just the first one. I'm gonna make it a whole new segment on my channel. So maybe I'll do the acai bowls next, because I love my homemade acai bowls, and those are really easy too. So there's so many things that you can make at home that you would just never even think of until you find like the right ingredients somewhere and stuff like that, because some things are a little bit harder to find. So anyway, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video.